So now we're going to move into our Rotarian of the Month, Mr. Foster. I will stop my share so that that you can do what you need to do. And let me just tell you, I will get a hook and pull you off the stage after 10 minutes.
That sounds fine. I hope everyone can see the screen.
Oh, wow. I think I'm pulling you off this. I'm pulling you off right now. That's it. That's it. Have fun.
All right. I'm not particularly comfortable talking about myself, though I'm always very comfortable talking. So we'll see how this goes. But so I do have a little PowerPoint. I hope you can see it. This will cover some of the major events of my life and then my current passion, the myth, the legend. So key dates in my life. I was born June 13th, 1965. I was born in Garberville, California. Today I gave this presentation. Thank you. That was awesome. Any questions? All right, we'll do a little bit more.
I missed the last part of that. What was today?
All right, so here I am at the age of 2, holding a daffodil in Miranda, California. And we do historic photos just because they're funny. I was the first of 3 children that I'm aware of from my parents. Yeah, there we go. Interestingly, as I get older, again, I am wearing elastic band pants. So that's very handy. I got fed and watered by my parents. Here I am, another funny photo. This is 7th grade in Miranda Junior High, and I'm now rocking long hair again. So that's kind of cool. Although I have expanded my forehead considerably since I was 12. Went to South Fork High School. There I am on the left. Young man, again, long fluffy hair with a, at the time, normal sized forehead as opposed to what I have now. There I am on the right, working hard as a political science student at Davis. That was the Reagan retirement party that we threw in 1984. We were premature in our retirement party. But as you can see, I was a well-dressed, serious young man, and dancing with my future roommate there in the front, and my friend Grace, who is now a immigration attorney in San Diego with kids. And so that was 1984. So I graduated from South Fork in 1983, and again, immediately, seriously jumped into studies at UC Davis. Okay, so let's go through some real key dates. Graduated from UC Davis in 1988. Got my first job in a group called the Local Government Commission, and we worked with local elected officials and helped them with the new recycling laws that were being passed in 1989. I lasted about a year at that job. Then I went to job number 2, recycling project manager for an engineering firm called R.W. Beck and Associates. Did some really fun projects as a 25-year-old, got to travel all over the state, helping write guidebooks, doing marketing events, worked on a big statewide study of the recycling bottle bill that we ended up writing a bunch of legislation for to change the way the bottle bill worked in 1991. But I decided I wanted to move back to Humboldt County. So Beth and I moved back in 1991. And then I got my 3rd job where I was the lead consultant business manager for Gaynor and Associates, Maggie Gaynor's group, and did that for 5 years, then had a kid, and joined the Sunrise Rotary Club of Arcata 25 years ago, just a little bit more than 25 years ago. And you'll notice key dates in Rotary and key dates with children overlap. Here we are, look at us. Some of us might remember this picture. That's over at the Arcata Community Center. Where we met at the time. That's the Oryx school students that we were sending to Washington, D.C. for a trip. That was a really great event. At the end of my first meeting as president, the owner, Sean Balassa of the Golden Harvest, came up and told us that we had to be out in a couple weeks because his landlord was taking away the conference room. So we started off the year with a bang. Look at that dark beard. Wow, amazing. Then I moved on to job number 4. I was a program coordinator for an economic development program at the Humboldt Area Foundation. In 1999, I was the president of the Sunrise Rotary Club of Arcata, and I did that right after changing jobs and having the second child. And I was living in Ferndale, so it was great decision making. New kid, new job, and living 45 minutes away from where the club met at 7 a.m. 7 freaking a.m. So then I went to executive director of REDEC, a job I still hold. Then I had another job at director of business development, Lost Coast Communications, which is K-Hum, K-Slug, and The Point, and ran those stations for a few years with my friend Patrick Cleary. Then quit, I went back to job number 5, and then quit that, went to be a vice president of commercial lending at Redwood Capital Bank, and then I quit that job and went back to REDEC, where I am still. So I've had 9 jobs, but only in 6 different places. So 5, 6 different places anyway. So I'm really not as flaky as it may appear from the number of jobs. I am a board of directors addict, apparently. These are some of the boards I've been on or still am on since returning to Humboldt County, including stints on the board of directors of this club and the Eureka Rotary Club. And some of these boards I've been on for a long time. Some I was very short. But what a fun way actually to get to know the community and get involved in stuff. And so I've really enjoyed it. Right now I am on the investment committee for the Humboldt Area Foundation, the legislative action committee for the California Association for Local Economic Development, which is a statewide group. I am on the board of Access Humboldt, which is the public access channel and radio station. The Eureka Concert and Film Center, also known as Eureka Theater, which is my current passion. We'll talk about that right at the end. And the North Coast Small Business Resource Center, which used to run the Small Business Development Center, but we now are associated with the Humboldt County Growers Alliance Association, and we provide the business training and marketing assistance to the local cannabis industry. And there may be a couple others that I can't remember. Usually I remember I'm on a board when I get the notice I'm supposed to show up for a board meeting. So there you go. But I always encourage people, this is a great way to get to know the community and get some stuff done. Join a board somewhere. So anyway, twice I figured out how to do something and created a couple kits. And there's the boys on the right, or excuse me, on the left. That's Riley and Will. That was a few years ago. Riley and some of you may know Tori Laidlaw, Ed and Teresa Laidlaw's daughter from Fieldbrook, and that's Riley and Tori. They got engaged in November and are going to be married. They've been together, they're now 25 and 24. They've been together 9 years. They started going out when they were juniors and sophomore and junior in high school. Riley, some of you who've been around forever might remember passing Riley around at Elaine Osborne's house for the debunking. I think it was Bob Johnson's debunking, I'm not sure which, but Riley was just a little baby. He was one of those Rotary babies. Dan Johnson and I both had kids right around the same time as young Rotarians. So Riley is now student teaching at Ferndale Elementary School, the school he went to, grew up in. And hopefully next year he'll be employed as a school teacher. And Tori, my future daughter-in-law, is getting her DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy, up at Pacific in Portland, and will hopefully be back here in a year plus practicing physical therapy in the local area. And they absolutely plan on staying here. And in the middle is Will, my second. Some of you might remember him. He was born when I was just before I was president. He's now 21 and living in Santa Cruz, getting ready to graduate from UC Santa Cruz. And he and his girlfriend will be moving, it looks like, to Seattle in June or July, and starting their life up there. So very excited. Good kids, both college graduates, never been arrested, as far as I know, and actually very, very self-sufficient, hardly ever ask for money, if at all. So I just kind of send it, which is great. I did something right there. I do actually have hobbies other than attending board meetings. My favorite place and one of my favorite hobbies is fly fishing in the Madison River in Montana. And we didn't make it there this year, but we go just about every year. On my first trip to Montana, I was 2 months old, and I've gone almost every year since. So you can do the math. Probably been to Montana 40, 50 times. And love going up there and catching browns and rainbows and just looking at the beautiful scenery of the Madison River Valley, which is about 45 minutes outside the park. I also like to garden and have spent a lot more time doing that this year for lack of travel and any other excitement. There's a picture of my house, the Tumble Down Manor, and with the garden in front there. And it's me, and I have an apartment here that I rent out, and then actually I have two apartments, and I rent out to a couple people who live in the house with me. And Brandy Easter, I'm making a pie for you this weekend for your folks at AEDC. As you know, I like to bake pies, and I occasionally sell them to the Rotarians. So that's fun. I probably bake 20 pies a year, if not more. I give them most all away because otherwise I'd be huge. Now, on to my current passion. I joined the Eureka Theater Board reluctantly about a year and a half ago, and it was sort of like heroin, I guess. I jumped right in and couldn't stop working on it. And it's a great facility. It's owned by a nonprofit. We're all volunteers. We have no employees. We recently added Charlie to the board. And we are, we held a lot of events. We're in the midst of restoration. We secured a loan last year through the Humboldt Area Foundation and my organization, REDEC, to do a bunch of renovations. Maggie used to be on the board, in fact. And Tom Tellez, who's in our club, is also on the board. And so we're getting ready to do some big renovations to there. We're redoing the apartment right now. There's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see the windows there right behind the marquee. It runs all the way across the front, has a huge living room, a sunroom, a deck, a bar. Anyway, so we're redoing that right now, and that'll be available for vacation rentals or events, and it'll generate income. I show that one picture in the middle there. That's the underneath all lit up. One of my personal projects over the last few months, as I had almost nothing else better to do with my spare time, not that I have much spare time, is I replaced over 250 burned out light bulbs in the theater. So we flicked on I flick on the lights every now and again at night just so people can enjoy that sidewalk. And you can see what's going on. So we are now moving on to getting bids and costing out the restoration of the big sign and monument that's built on the top. We have a lot of projects going on, and we're really excited to spend some real money to get the things like the roof fixed and some other things. This building was abandoned. It was purchased by the Arcleys and donated to the new nonprofit about 20 years ago. And it's been slowly being restored ever since. The lobby is absolutely gorgeous. I wish I'd put a photo in there. Actually, the lobby, they restored that. And we will be open again for both live events and, of course, movies. We still have 3 carbon arc projectors upstairs. Those are the old style projectors. 2 of them were probably built in the late 30s. And then we have a 16 millimeter carbon arc, but we also have mostly what we use now is our digital projectors, which is fun. So every now and again, after a hard day's work in the theater, I'll decide I want to watch a movie. So I'll turn Netflix on the laptop and show it on the big screen. So that's kind of fun. So we have a lot of work to be done on this. We are trying to save this for this community and then make it open for the community even more than what we have already. And I would love to, at some point, give you a tour. Now, we had the open house. We did a reception there, if you might remember, and our heater failed, unfortunately, for the night of the reception, so it was rather cold. The heater is now fixed, and we're getting ready to spend actually another 20 grand or so on upgrading the heating system. So It will be great. We want to restore those murals. We're probably going to be doing a fundraiser around the mural restoration, and then doing a major capital campaign to save what we call that blade sign that says Eureka, and the monument. That piece that's holding the blade sign is actually a stucco covered frame that's holding on the blade, and we need to have that rebuilt. We just got a quote for that to rebuild all that. We'll take all the stucco and everything off and rebuild it, and then put that all back on, and then restore that Eureka, which is actually a sheet metal that's attached to that monument. So we're going to do, I hope, much more public fundraisers and public tours and that sort of thing once we get open. But we've been trying, obviously, for a year to try to figure out when we can get open, and at this point we don't know. So anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, give me a holler. I'm done. That's all you get.
And that was more than 10 minutes. I just want you to know, for thinking of timing in your head, but I really love that theater, and I'm glad you were able to share what's going on there. It's too bad that, that it's been slowed by COVID, but it will happen. It will happen. So Greg, I'd like you to pick a number for me between 1 and 70.
82.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, let's say 37.
37? Okay. And my list, oh, here we go. 37 is, pick another number.
Why, was it me again? How about 48?
That's great. That's Steve McHaney. So he will be our Rotarian of the Month next month.